Welcome back to the Who's Right podcast. And here we go on the winning trail again. We take 2 out of 3 in Colorado, and vibes are good, especially after the big win today, in decisive fashion. Didn't have to sweat it out. We haven't had many of those this year, but love it. Love it, love it, love it. But before we get started, subscribe to the channel, like the video, uh, give us your comments. Let us know how you're feeling. Victor, how you doing?
Doing great. We started that one shaky. I'm not gonna lie. I was really mad, but we come back, we win games, and what do we say? We just gotta win this series. From here on out, we just gotta win series, and it doesn't get easier from here. We're playing a Mariners team that is trying to get out of a funk, and so we just gotta take care of business going forward. Keep on winning series, and we got a good shot at making the playoffs.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. Kyle Rowley came out saying that they're feeling the dog days of summer, and so is a perfect opportunity for us, even though they got one of the best pitching staffs in baseball, to run into them. This is a perfect opportunity for us. But before we get there, let's talk about the Mets, man. Let's talk about the why we're here. We're talking about winning baseball and in the third wild card spot after today. And so, like I said, vibes are hot. Lindor continues to lead this team. And so gotta love it, gotta love it. But let's just get into it. Let's just get into it. Let's break it down and see what we did to this series. We came out game one and little kind of quiet. We didn't do much in game one. Came out and lost the first game, and we were like, is this going to happen again to another bad ball club? Are we gonna lose to another bad ball club? And Sevy had it and didn't have it at the same time. His velocity was up, but still, try to keep us in the games, but but didn't, and he had a kind of choppy outing. I think. What do you think?
Yeah, Sevy, man. I think this is what we're talking about when we say he can benefit from that six-man rotation because he's just looking like he's been, he's not been well since he's gotten over 100 innings. And so I think right now he just needs to take some time, work on his stuff. And you've seen them do this with Peterson, where his pitch count doesn't get too high. He only threw 88 pitches in his last start and 82 before that, but maybe he just needs to start throwing less pitches, less innings, or less pitches in general, because his pitch count doesn't get too high. He's able to get through six pretty easily, but then I feel like if he just had a little bit extra rest, and it's not that he's gets worse as the start goes on, but it's just each of these last two starts have not been great for him, and so I just hope that he can turn it around because right now he's fighting for a contract, and if he can't prove that he can pitch later in the year, then he's obviously not going to get the contract that he needs. But love to see that our bullpen can kind of keep it together in this one. Brazaban pitching 2 scoreless innings after having a bounce back after that last start where he gave up that go-ahead 3-run homer was huge. And Alex Young, he's fighting for a job too. You got Reed Garrett coming back, and it's between him, uh, Danny Young, and Adam Ottavino right now for who's going to get sent down and get cut from this team. And so let's see if he can continue to be better because obviously it's a tight bullpen right now. But I'm just glad that the it wasn't such a blow up like we've seen in the past. We were actually able to stay in this game. What lost us this game were the bats.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. And that's kind of been the theme, right? We've talked about it all year. since the beginning, even before the season. Our bats are the ones that are going to keep us in these games, and you know we can't go quiet on a team like the Rockies, especially in Colorado. You can't go quiet. You know that's and then but we did have the bounce backs from Brazaban and Young continues to impress. And then we continue the slow start in game two. It was 8 innings. We knock out the pitcher in the first inning. Well, we didn't knock him out. He got injured, and the bullpen literally shuts us down for 7 more innings. We didn't come back really until their closer, and so we were quiet for 8 innings, and it's just amazing to me in Colorado that our bats are quiet for almost 2 games, and so I don't understand it. I'm glad we pulled the win out, but we had an awesome outing from Manaya. He's continuing to impress. I don't know if we talked about it the last time, but he got his tweaked his mechanics after watching Sale pitch, and it's kind of took his sales mechanics a little bit, and he looks like a different pitcher, a better pitcher, and he's going to opt out of his contract now if he continues to go on this trajectory.
Yeah, you said Manaya.
Yeah.
Yeah, Manaya. He's obviously pitching really well, and it's assuring to see Blackburn do really well in the start. And he's got another year, so even if Manaya does opt out, then we'll still have Blackburn pitching here really well. He doesn't have the strikeouts that Manaya does, but another great start from Blackburn. Love to see him be able to keep the ball in the yard for the most part. He gave up that one home run, but to be able to go 6 innings and to only give up one run and produce a lot of those ground ball outs, that he's loving the defense that is playing behind him because, again, Francisco Lindor and Jose Budo continue to flash the leather and show how good the glove is. There were a couple of errors I thought in this one that, go back to, that third base position where, Jose Iglesias was playing third base, so I'm thinking of the wrong game. But I think it was more in the first game where Mark Vientos made not a huge error, but it was just not great. But anyway, back to this game. Jose Buda pitched in this one, did really well. Pitched two innings, and was able to get the job done. And Edwin Diaz, he gave up that triple to what's his name, your boy, Toglia. But after that, he shut them down. And although he did give up that run, I thought he looked pretty decent in his start, as the closer should, with poise, getting the outs that he should. He's not having the strikeout stuff like we thought he would, and that kind of concerns me a little bit. And we'll talk about that a little more. But good to see the bats break out. And we got a little help from the umps. We talked about it today offline. Those umps, they just seem to keep on getting worse.
Yeah, no, and absolutely. I guess I'm still, dreaming about Manaya's start that wanted to keep that going, but Blackburn again was using just a few of his pitches more than just using all of them. And I think the Mets identified something, and he's trusting the Mets, especially because he's in a pennant race, and so he's trusting the Mets. He's wanting. He's absorbing everything right now, and another quality start, 2 in a row, and like you said, Diaz with the 2 strikeouts in the ninth inning to close it out, and that hit that he gave up was almost like a Coors Field kind of hit. So that no problem there. He closed it out, and Budo continues to impress. Even in Colorado, where pitchers don't always react their best, and both Abudo and Diaz took care of business in Colorado.
Yeah.
And then we get to today's game, um, and we started off the game with four extra base hits in a row, and the writing was on the wall. Gomer just didn't have it. He couldn't. His curveball wasn't working for him today, and he just didn't have it. And he wore it a little bit for his team, right? Because of the bullpen usage yesterday, he wore it for his team, and so he kept it. So he stayed in the game longer than probably Bud Black wanted him to stay in there for, just because they had the bullpen, all that usage yesterday. So and Peterson again continues to impress. Continues to be the pitcher that we expected him to be, and he went just 5 innings. Unfortunately, Peterson can't. Is still having issues with getting consistent quality starts. But he's getting the 5 innings and in there, at least getting the 5 innings in there consistently.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how uh, Carlos Mendoza kind of manages this the starting rotation, because obviously with guys like Manaya, he's going out and letting them pitch in that eighth inning or an extra inning when they're around the same pitch count. I think Peterson only had around 88 pitches today. He was throwing strikes, so that wasn't the problem. He only walked. Well, he walked three, which ended up being the problem. But they were all in that last inning, or they seemed like they were all in that last inning, and they that seemed to have been his problem. But it's interesting to see that he doesn't have uh, Carlos Mendoza's trust yet. He's still fighting for that, and this start definitely didn't help him. But good to see Ottavino get in there, pitch a scoreless. He knows he's fighting for a job, so he's trying to do his darnest to make sure that he doesn't lose his job. And I think at the moment, because of how the contracts are constructed, he's pretty safe with the way he pitched today. But Stanek continues to be an amazing pitcher for us. I love to see him in more leverage because he's had some good stuff. I know he had that one rocky outing, but since then he's been pitching really well. And then Danny Young striking people out. Who knew he had that little scare in the ninth inning, but he was able to close it out. He was able to stay poised and get the job done. So all around good win. The Mets tied or set a franchise record with 4 extra base hits in the first inning. That's the first time they've ever done that, which is really cool. And it's great to see Pete break out. And let's hope that this is the start of it, because his home runs weren't anything to look past. He still hit the ball really hard, and he had 3 hits today. And so he still is swinging at those balls outside of the zone, which is frustrating. But that's what you get with the power hitter. Let's just hope that Pete can continue the mashing run that he needs to go on, and reach those 40 home runs like he says.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Who knows if he's going to make 40, but it was great to see him get the multi home run game. He's just one back of Darryl Strawberry now for the most in franchise history. But it's still, like you said, a little concerning that he's still chasing those balls out of the strike zone. I mean, last 2 at bats he just struck out. So hopefully it is him breaking out. I'm hoping that's the case because we need somebody else to help Lindor carry this torch. It can't be just Lindor all the time. And he needs another guy to consistently do it. Luckily, we've gotten production throughout the lineup. We had McNeil for a while, we had Nimmo for a while, Martinez for a while. the combination of Bader and Taylor for a little bit. They've all kind of contributed. Vientos for a little bit. He also had a big home run today. So it's one of those things that but the consistent guy that's done it for the last couple months since he's gone to the leadoff position is has been Lindor, and he needs another guy to carry that weight.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things that everyone's been contributing, and we can benefit from the depth of our lineup. But at some point, I remember when we had that 100-win season, and it's something that we point to all the time. But something that was evident was that Pete Alonso had a lot to do with those 100 wins, and so we know that this guy can carry us to a lot of wins through the stretch of baseball that our lineup is not hitting because he can hit home run balls. Let's hope that that power breaks out. And if him and JD are hitting at the same time, then that's a recipe for success, especially if they have JD, Pete, and then Vientos. Oh, imagine what you can do there. And Francisco Alvarez, I thought it was interesting. We'll talk about a little bit more about this in our concerns, but he set two of these games. He only started the one, and we talked about that last time. Is he kind of losing his playing time? Because Torrens has been able to handle behind the plate and be able to do what Francisco Alvarez hasn't been able to do, and that's get on base and hold on to the ball when wild pitches get out of the strike zone. But great series overall. Love to see these Mets get back on track with good momentum going into this Mariners series.
Yeah, so let's jump into the concerns. I think we kind of touched on it on the end there. Both of our concerns have come and produce, and for you, it's Alvarez. I still think that we're a better. It, I still think it just happened to be that he got sat 2 games in this series. I think it was mainly because of the way the games played out and the travel because he is a catcher. You don't want to overwork him. I think that's part of why he probably sat. Obviously, and I don't know if you noticed when he got that triple at the end of the game, he kind of stumbled rounding second, and and the trainers were looking at him in the dugout when he came into the dugout. So, they might have just gave him a day just to give him some rest. I know he was dying in that Colorado air. so so was Iglesias. Even though he played there, he wasn't used to that air anymore. Um, but I think it partly had to do with the schedule why we saw Alvarez sit, and maybe that triple kind of that stumble into the triple kind of contributed as well for him not only playing 2 games this series.
Yeah, that's a good. I realized how exhausted Francisco Alvarez was until he hit that triple because he was gunning it for third base, and once he got there, it was so funny to watch him try to catch his breath because he was just completely out of it, and they took him out of the game immediately, and he's still huffing and puffing in the bullpen or in the dugout, just trying to catch some water, and it's bad that they don't have any oxygen in those dugouts for those players. That just seems like a crime because those guys have to be tired. Tyrone Taylor made some spectacular plays in that third game, and I'm surprised he wasn't out of breath. But no, it's a good point. I hope Alvarez is able to bounce back. Keith and Ron were talking about it in the booth. Gary and Ron were talking about it in the booth about how it's called a catcher, not a framer, right? And so let's hope that the mechanics go back into actually trying to catch the ball and get rid of this framing job. We know that it only helps so much, and when those wild pitches go out of the way, that tends to hurt a lot. But yeah, I agree with you. We got to see those bats produce. Let's hope that they continue to do well down the stretch, this tough stretch of baseball that we have ahead.
Yeah, no, for sure. And what do you know, guys? When we're winning, the concerns are few. Obviously, Pete's still a concern. Hopefully, he breaks out. But we don't want to continue to harp on him because we've been, he had a good game today, and we all know that he knows, and we all know that he needs to continue to build on this. Yeah. I'm glad that we don't have many concerns because we keep positive, keep the good vibes going today. And so let's get into the who's right part of the podcast. And um, we got Lindor, obviously continuing to be consistent and leading this team. So not for me. And um, um, and then we got Blackburn. Um, you know, a notch for Yuki because we all I wanted to pick him again, but I thought and not that Peterson did a bad job, but he just didn't have the outing that Blackburn had, and but Blackburn, another outing, two outings in a row that he's done well, and as far as the Mets killer is concerned, I mean, I'm gonna go with defense. All around Colorado defense is we could say just McMahon himself was killing us. It was good not seeing him in the lineup today. Because he was just killing us. And that's the who's right part of the podcast.
Yeah, and Lindor continues to show why he's the captain of this team. Continues to break out with the bat and the glove. He's able to lead off the games really well. Love him in that leadoff spot. Don't know why they weren't doing that from the beginning of the season. Should have been listening to the podcast. But Blackburn, I know that he loves pitching for New York, especially with the David Stearns New York team, because they're high on defense. He's able to have guys make plays that he's never seen his A's team make before, and he's just going to continue to benefit from that. And so we might see this more out of Blackburn. He might be a better pitcher here than he was in Oakland. Let's just hope that he continues to trend that way. McMahon is phenomenal. This is flashbacks to the beginning of the season where we just were hitting them where they were, but this time we were hitting them where they weren't. McMahon just figured out a way to get there and still throw those runners out. And so, great defense from him. Awesome to see. I just love good baseball, and so I loved seeing McMahon be able to play good baseball. But someone else that I thought killed the Mets a little bit too, which was a little shocking because he doesn't seem to do anything. But this is twice now, or in both series that we played him. Jake Cave just seems to be able to hit a home run every time, and so I don't think he did too much of a job, but he definitely won them that game, and get game one, and had some extra base hits in game two, and so maybe that's a future Mets killer. Who knows? He does look pretty old, so I don't know how long he's going to stay around, but it's good that the Mets killer didn't stand out too much and didn't kill us for more than one of just that first game.
Yeah, no, for sure. And so it, and now we move on to Seattle. Like we mentioned at the beginning, this is a perfect time to be meeting up with Seattle. They're out of first place. Houston has overtaken the AL West right now, and it's and like we heard from Kyle Rowley, they're feeling it right now. So, the whole team is, he said there was a lack of energy. And so, they're just feeling it. They're feeling the dog days of summer. They're feeling the pressure of Houston always knocking at their doorstep, kind of like last year. And, and they're missing Julio Rodriguez. A bunch of things are breaking in a way that this should be favorable for us, even though we're going up against that pitching staff. So let's preview it. Um, we got Quintana versus Miller tomorrow. On Saturday, we got Manaya versus Gilbert. and this pitching staff is tough. And then we got Severino versus Castillo. I think Castillo's not living up to what he normally does on the into the ace level that he's pitched to, but at any given time he can shut you down, and that's going to be a pretty good matchup on Sunday Night Baseball.
Yeah, these are all going to be great games. Listen, this Mariners team doesn't hit the ball well. They're based off of all pitching, and they're not able to put up runs. And so we just have to be able to take it to them. We've seen the Mets do this before with stellar pitching. It seems like the pitching that they don't do well against is the nobodies that you don't really get to study up on, I guess. Because when it comes to these major league pitchers, these top 15 pitchers, they're able to shut their lights out or knock them around. And so let's hope that they still get there. All of these all of these matchups, I feel like are going to be pitching duels. It really stinks that Julio Rodriguez isn't going to be playing in this one. He's one of my favorite players in the league, and would have loved to be able to see him on the field against the Mets. But they still have some good bats. They acquired Randy Arozarena at the deadline. They got Justin Turner, and they're trying to look for some life anywhere they can. The Angels found life when they played the Mets, and now they went off and started beating the Yankees. And so let's just hope that the Mets are able to keep them to bed and not give them the life that they're looking for right now, because this is a chance to, and we don't want to do it, but this is a chance to bury them in their aspirations for an AL West title.
Yeah, I mean, at least to take 2 out of 3 from them. And so, obviously we can't predict the sweeps because we tried to do that with the Rockies and Angels, and that just doesn't happen. But we need to take 2 out of 3. We need to come out on top in this road trip because of the teams that we played. So we got to take at least 2 out of 3 in this one. So let's get right to it. Maybe we'll keep this episode nice and short and sweet. You go first. Let's get to the Who's Right part of the podcast.
Yeah, I picked him last time, and he definitely would have been the Who's Right MVP star because he hit 2 home runs in his last game. But I'm going to go with Pete Alonso again. I think he's starting to finally break out. It's going to be tough for him to break out against these pitchers, especially because they're going to try to get him to swing and miss a lot. And so let's hope that he can control that. He's been walking a lot too, so let's hope that he has the patience. But what we've seen from Pete Alonso in this last game and from him all year is that he's not just trying to swing for the fences. He's trying to put the ball in play. And that's what we're going to need here. We're going to need to knock these pitchers around. But I think he can hit a couple of home runs in this one and put the Mets on top at least one of these games.
Yeah, so we're hoping that Pete continues to build on what he did today, continues to be the back of the baseball card, that old cliche, and recover this season because we're going to need him. And so let's hope that happens. And so my guy is the other guy that hit the home run today. I'm going to go with Marky V. Mendoza was talking about that. He looked a little tired. This is obviously his first full year. They get pretty much a couple of days off a week in the minors, and so the year's wearing on him. He's got to build that stamina up, and so I could see Mendoza giving Vientos a couple of days off here and there to keep him fresh. But I do think that getting a little breather yesterday helped him, and we'll see. And like Keith said today, dude is strong. He threw that. He got that home run off of almost 1 foot, and so my guy is going to be a Marky V.
Yeah, let's hope so. Let's hope that his defense. I'll continue to point to his defense, but let's hope that it improves and that he can continue to mash the ball. I thought he was on a historic pace for the amount of plays or play appearances that he had and the amount of home runs that he was hitting, and his OPS is still over 800. And so, that's a good pick. And I hope that Swaggy V continues to hit the baseball well.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. And my pitching standout, since I've been, mentioning him all podcasts, even though he didn't pitch this series, Mania. This team, like you said, doesn't put up a lot of runs. Their batting average, I think Gary said, was 217 as a team, and the only one lower than that is the White Sox. And so with the momentum that and the confidence that Mania has right now with the new mechanics and striking out people, I'm gonna go with Mania as the pitching standout this series.
Great pick. Mania is always a good pick, especially when he's in the company of royalty on the Mets. With Dwight Gooden
And Seaver.
Tom Seaver. He's always a nice pick to go there. But I'm going to go somewhere else. I'm not going to go with starting pitching because both Quintana and Severino have proven that they are all, although they're not bad, they aren't stellar pitchers like Mania. So to beat you this week, I'm going to go to the bullpen, and I'm going to go with the guy that I think is going to get us a couple of saves here. Even though we're going to see Reed Garrett in this one, or in this series most likely, I think Edwin Diaz is going to play a pivotal role in what could be some close games, and so I think we're going to see him shine. We saw him have 2 strikeouts the other night, and I think he can continue to get his strikeout stuff working again.
Yeah, no, for sure. Great pick out of you, and let's keep those strikeouts going because it's much needed, and this bullpen is starting to look like a bullpen, and so let's keep it going. So who's going to be your Mets killer?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the guy in this someone that beat the Mets while he was on the Tampa Bay Rays, but Randy Arozarena. I ended up killing the Mets when we played them down in Tampa, and so I think him on this new team, they're pushing for a playoff race, and I think he's been a great role to plug in there. I think they're batting him in the 2 hole, and so. Randy Arozarena likes to hit the Mets. Let's just hope that he doesn't have so much success this time around.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely. Randy's a quality ball player and loves killing the Mets. And I mean, he's a good ball player, so loves killing everybody. And so I'm gonna go with a new one of their other acquisitions, and I'm gonna go with Justin Turner. He definitely loves killing his old ball club. We're gonna go with the 2 new acquisitions for Seattle. But again, just a thorn, nothing to write home about, and let's take 2 out of 3 out of the series. And you kind of mentioned it, Reed Garrett coming back. This bullpen is looking strong, and who's the odd man out? Who do you think is going to be the odd man out?
Yeah, right now I feel like Danny Young is looking from the outside in, just because he has that optionality, and they've done this before when he was pitching well. They sent him down, and so I think just with the start that he had today, although he didn't do bad, he still let 2 men on base, and that's something that I don't think that Alex Young or Adam Ottavino did, and it stinks because Danny Young is a young pitcher, but we'll see him next year. I think he's going to have a good year with us next year once Adam Ottavino expires contracts. But it also stinks because that makes Alex Young our only lefty in the bullpen. I wish it was Ottavino I wish that Ottavino had some optionality, and that we could option one of these righties because I think it does provide us another weapon in the bullpen, having two lefties in there. But just based off the contracts, it's probably Danny Young being sent down.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And and who knows? It might be just a temporary thing for Ottavino because we do got Nunez coming back soon as well, and so I don't think I don't I know he's fighting for a spot, but I don't think that he's actually gonna be long for the spot. Whether they do it now and keep two lefties for now, or wait for Nunez to come back and then that's when Ottavino sees the door. But I don't think he's long. I don't think he's gonna uh, survive August because either now or Nunez when Nunez comes back and Sean Reed Foley coming back. There's a lot of arms coming back. Well, maybe Sean Reed Foley coming back. Who knows? He might not. He might not make it back because the he didn't do too well last couple outings in the minors. So we'll see what happens with Sean Reed Foley.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Another guy that has optionality, which would be shocking for everybody if they end up going this route, is if they option Brazoban. If they pitch him, a lot in these next couple of games, and then just option him down so that he can make room for another arm to come up just while he's recovering or so. The timeline is 15 days in the minors, and then you're able to come back up. But that's another option that they have because they were able to pick him up on a 5-year deal with all of those options. And so I would be shocked if they went that way, but excited to see Reed Garrett back, Sean Reed Foley. I hope he gets it back, but Daniel Nunez is going to be a pivotal part in this bullpen when he comes back. So excited for that as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. And so we're gonna end it there. I'm gonna give a quick shout out. First preseason game of the year. Got the New York Giants going on, and got the big W today, even though nobody played. So football is back, and who knows what we're gonna do. But big shout out to the Giants again. That meaningless W, but we'll take it.
Yeah, especially after all the scuffles that went down in training camp. When are they going to stop doing that stuff, man? Like, it seems like every other day or with every team, there's a fight that breaks out between those joint practices. So they just need to be away with that. Someone's going to get hurt. Leak Neighbors, he looks really good, and so I'm excited to see him this year. But stinks that Drew Lock kind of went out early. Let's hope that he's okay. But if it's the Tommy Cutlass show again, I'm excited for that. But I'm focused on the baseball season. We still got a lot of baseball to play. This is meaningless football right now. Let's go Mets. Let's continue to win baseball.
Absolutely. Hey, guys, subscribe to the channel. Like this video, and on replay, leave us your comments. Let us know what you're thinking, how you're feeling. And until Sunday, well, till Monday morning, because we ain't recording Sunday after Sunday Night Baseball. Let's go Mets.